Vieni.
Vedi che è tutto blu? Quelli sono corpi freddi.
Ok.
Mentre quel pallino rosso che tu vedi lì è un corpo
Tipo
caldo.
uno scoiattolo, no?
Brava, un animale, sì.
Chi era?
Strano, non tiro un filo di vento.
It was so unnerving and so scary because you can't help but put yourself in that situation, thinking, we're in the wilderness, in nature, in a tent, and when you're in a tent, you're kind of a sitting duck for anybody or anything that wants to come and approach you, and you don't really have eyes on the situation. So what do, right? The husband goes out. We hear that he's in trouble. Do you go out now and try to help him and risk your life, but also your baby's life, right? It's like such a Sophie's choice. I loved the use of the heat monitor for her to kind of get a gauge of what was going on out there. The hands on the tent, that sent me. That was so scary. But what I liked about it was how subtle it is, and it wasn't scary in a like jump scare way. Even the music wasn't adding to that at all. Everything was just so like quiet and subtle and creepy, and it was just, I don't know how they did it, but it was amazing.
The writing in this one was excellent, such a cliffhanger. I love the performances of the actors as they gradually become terrified. And the sound design is awesome. Gripping music, percussion, heartbeats, and nature sounds all add to the scary nature of the piece. I like the lighting too, so bright during the day in the cornfield dream, and so blue and dreary during the scenes inside the tent. Intriguing concept that seems to be tying the pregnancy to the situation, notably when she picks up a camera image of tiny hands on the side of the tent. Is this film a metaphor for the fear of parenting, or something more sci-fi or supernatural?
This is a very atmospheric piece, and that gives it a lot of distinction right from the beginning. It handles its horror elements with grace. It's not in any sense rushed. It takes its time to tell its story while still telling it in a very compact sort of way. The tent itself almost feels like a uterus, but instead of bringing about a birth, it brings about something else, which is difficult to describe and I think is intentionally meant to be difficult to describe. I loved the ending, which teases at a kind of time loop being involved. It echoes back to the Blair Witch Project, but in a very different but still beautifully ambiguous sort of way, let's say.
I really liked, the blue color story, like being when she's in the tent and like the blue, whatever, like white balance and color correction, whatever y'all did, the blue moonlight really worked. It really added to like the cold vibes of it. Her acting, both of their acting was really cool and really, I really felt it for real. Their performances were excellent. But I really want to shout out the choice to stay in the tent the whole time and like only see what she sees, because that added to the fear, because whatever we can imagine is much scarier than whatever we can see. You know what I'm saying? Letting the audience just imagine what's out there and never see it. That's way scarier.
Hearing all these noises around you and not really knowing what's out there, it's almost kind of reversed when this couple is inside the tent and they don't know what's going on inside the outside world, and that's almost kind of like the opposite of bearing a child, being in utero and not knowing what's out there, and this anxiety of the future for your child and the world and what is out there. I also loved this like anxiety, like nightmare scene in the cornfield, because I think that's just such a great nod to so many other horror films. But it was just very well done. It had great imagery, and it also, for being such a scary environment, it was also incredibly beautiful. So very well done.
This one's so good. It has great performances, and the plot uses the night very cleverly in this camping trip, and it's just whimsical and fun, and the couple had great chemistry between them, but then they use the woods and this darkness and the mysterious events happening outside of the tent. It's just a great way to build up the mystery, and it's creepy. The suggestion as well that she's pregnant is also thrilling. You want to understand what's happening, and just quite creepy. I loved it.
It's very eerie. As a city dweller myself, it reinforces why I should never go camping out in the woods. The premise is a couple are out camping and they notice, or more correctly, the woman notices that there are beings around their tent, and she's hearing them. And upon that premise, I will go no further, except that you'll like it. It's short, and it will reinforce for you why to stay home this summer.